Well, there's always been a rivalry between Saskatoon and Regina. According to the latest census figures, Saskatoon has 20,000 more people than Regina, and it's growing almost twice as fast. Saskatoon has been seen as the more dynamic, progressive community, while Regina has the reputation of being a government town with not much else going for it. But there appears to have been a reversal of fortune, and tonight we bring you a tale of two cities with Paul Dieterich in Saskatoon and Cheryl Jackson in Regina.
I prefer Saskatoon, by far. It's a newer city, the streets are wide, and you don't have the congestion that you do in Regina, and it's so much cleaner.
Our son used to live here in Saskatoon, and we used to come here quite a bit. And I think it's prettier in Regina.
Oh, we've got a much better auditorium here. We've got a much better Sask Place arena here. And a prettier city, much prettier city. We got a river. We don't have a slough.
I don't really know Regina, and I'm not particularly anxious to learn.
Well, I've often wondered why people think Saskatoon's so great. I love Regina. Great place. Nice downtown park.
I've lived in Saskatoon for a year and a half, and I think Regina is a more friendly atmosphere to live in.
In Saskatoon, the people aren't as friendly. Like, you go into a store and they're not as nice to you, but in Regina, everyone's more friendly and willing to talk to you.
It seems to have a better downtown area than Saskatoon. It's tough to find downtown in Saskatoon.
Reginans say they like their downtown, Wascana Lake, the legislative building. The same things they've always said. What's changed is how often they say it. Reginans, who have long been known for Regina bashing, now say they like their city, a city that's had the reputation of being nothing but a government town, a stable but boring place to live.
People here in Saskatoon are proud of their riverbank, their university, and their arts community. They'll tell you this is a more independent city than Regina, that they don't have to rely on government to keep their economy going. Saskatoon is a service center for mining and farming, but over the last decade, prices for wheat, potash, and uranium have dropped out of sight.
For quite some time during the 80s, Saskatoon was the fastest growing city in Canada. At that time, Regina was flat or maybe shrinking slightly. And Regina's economy was, I think, seen then as being tied primarily to government activity.
Doug Bicknell's been teaching at the College of Commerce at the University of Saskatchewan for 23 years. He says in that time, things have changed.
Saskatoon has suffered. Being a major supplier for mining and agriculture, when those two have gone down, business has dropped off. We haven't had any major activity of the type that Regina's had.
The Regina housing industry says this is more than major activity. It's a boom. Ken McKinley is with the Saskatchewan Home Builders Association.
Well, we expected the first quarter to be somewhat slow, but to our surprise, the first quarter really took off from local people purchasing their homes.
Why did that happen to you?
Well, I think it's the local people have put off that buying decision, and now they want to get in the market because they feel optimistic with Crown Life coming in and Farm Credit, and they're making their purchasing decision now ahead of these other people coming in.
Every couple of weeks, the estimates of Regina housing starts go up. In January, the city projected 250 houses would be built this year. As of mid-March, that was up to 425. In all of last year, only 161 houses were built. Some companies are even building on spec, hoping to sell the houses after they're built, a risk that isn't taken when times are bad.
Housing starts are also up in Saskatoon over last year, but they're not as high as in Regina. At the end of March, 44 houses had been started in Saskatoon, compared to 93 in Regina. Construction workers and tradespeople are leaving in droves. The construction union has lost 100 members in the last year alone.
In Regina, it's a different story. Tradespeople are staying.
Well, I was going to move out of town because there wasn't a lot of work in Regina here, and then with the way the housing movement started, I decided to stay in town and work for a while and see what happens.
The boom doesn't end in the suburbs. 3 office towers are being built in downtown Regina, and Crown Life will be starting its high-rise in June. Business owners are feeling good. Monica Gross says sales are up 20% since last fall.
With the new buildings going up, they should be completed, I believe, the 1st of July. We're really looking forward to the traffic downtown. The streets are being cleaned up for spring. The Scars Street Mall is being re-enhanced, so we're really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be busy.
It's been a long time since a crane has towered over Saskatoon's skyline. These days, the most noticeable feature downtown is all the office space that sits empty and the businesses that have shut down. Small business owners are less than optimistic.
Broke, frustrated, and angry.
Terry Tyler owns a hair salon in downtown Saskatoon. She says the city has to start doing what Regina is doing, attract new businesses, bring in jobs, and create some economic optimism.
They take every opportunity they can to let people know they're coming, and so it's been sold and packaged really well. And Saskatoon doesn't seem to sell and package their thing, the advantages that we do have and the businesses that we do have come.
It may not look like it late on a Friday afternoon, but this is one of the busiest employment centers in the country. In March, Saskatoon's unemployment rate was 10.5%, almost 3 points higher than Regina's. That means 2,000 more people are out of work in Saskatoon than in Regina.
How badly does Saskatoon need an influx of jobs?
Well, quite badly. If, for instance, you have a Promavia or a Saskatoon Heavy Industries, if indeed they go and it does create the number of jobs that they're talking about, that's going to make quite an impact.
But the projects Wayhill is talking about are not sure things, and until they are, people in Saskatoon continue to sit and wait for jobs.
I love this one.
In Regina, there may be more jobs, but they're not all secure. Shoe store owner Jim Doan says that affects business.
Lots of civil servants aren't feeling positive about their jobs, particularly in Regina when maybe both people in a household work for the province. Is afraid that maybe one of them might lose their income. So consumer confidence really hasn't buoyed because government is still the biggest employer in the town.
Even so, the chairman of Regina's Economic Development Authority, Gord Staceyson, says the economy is much more promising than it was last fall, when the former government announced it was moving hundreds of civil service jobs out of Regina.
We had this pall of gloom hanging over the city a year ago because of the concern about decentralization. This community, the city of Regina, was really suffering economically anyway. And the added problem of decentralization of civil servants was created a very negative attitude within the business community. That has completely changed now.
Changed, he says, because Fair Share was canceled when the NDP took power in October, and because 2 major corporations are moving to Regina from Ontario. Crown Life and the Farm Credit Corporation are bringing more than 1,200 jobs to the city, and a payroll of about $60 million a year. The province gave Crown Life a loan guarantee for $250 million.
I guess there's maybe an optimistic attitude in the city.
Del Reimer is with Regina's Chamber of Commerce.
We need to rely, I think, on more of the people rather than the governments to make the economy roll. I think for so long we've relied on the governments, both city, federal, provincial, and I think it's time we personally take it and make it happen and quit relying on the government quite as much.
Okay, do you think there's a feeling, though, that the province is playing favorites?
I don't think so, no.
You don't see
no,
that?
Between the 2 cities?
Yes.
I don't think so, no.
But some people in Saskatoon do feel there's favoritism when it comes to government-assisted projects. It's been well over a year since Belgian aircraft maker Promavia announced it would hire 300 people to build jet trainers in Saskatoon. So far, not one aircraft has rolled off the assembly line. In fact, there's still no assembly line. People in Saskatoon are beginning to call the company Promavia.
There's a problem with a long lead time. It was talked about, and still things as yet have not come together.
The provincial government promised Promavia $20 million in cash and loan guarantees, but the company still has to raise $26 million on its own. So far, the project hasn't gotten off the ground.
We need to see a project, one or two projects of the size like that, hit the books in Saskatoon to get people's attitudes just a little bit better. A lot of people are taking a wait and see and prove it to me type attitude.
Jim Miller has only been Saskatoon's Chamber of Commerce president for a few weeks. But in that time, he's seen the Promavia project stall and a $50 million research deal with Atomic Energy of Canada go no further than the drawing board. That deal would have created 170 jobs and a whole new industry for Saskatoon.
People couldn't believe it, that with the dire straits that we're in right now, that we would let an opportunity like that slip through our hands without at least giving it a chance, without doing the study. So there is, without question, there is a feeling of despair and desperation.
Saskatoon has been promised an institute for energy development. It'll likely go here in the city's high-tech park. But no one really knows what it will be, how big it will be, or even when it will be. Some people are calling it a consolation prize from the province for canceling the AECL deal.
It's not a replacement for the AECL deal in any fashion.
Russell Marcoux runs a trucking company in Saskatoon. He says Regina is miles ahead when it comes to attracting business. He credits Regina's Economic Development Authority.
Gord Staceyson, who he's out promoting that city, and you can just tell the way he talks about that city that he's truly believes what he's talking about, and it's like he's selling a product. And obviously he's had some success. I assume he's played a role in the Crown Life and the FCC and some of the other opportunities that have landed there. And you don't see the same sort of thing in Saskatoon.
Regina, during the 80s, lost its entrepreneurial spirit and became a city that was somewhat apathetic. It was a civil service city, not aggressive, and we became complacent.
So the city created an independent economic development authority. It put pressure on Crown Life and FCC to move to Regina and is doing the same with other companies it won't yet name.
Regina's aggressiveness is forcing Saskatoon to play catch-up.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing. I think we're hoping that we'll see in the next month or two City Council pass the final approval for an economic development authority to get off the ground. And I firmly believe that once we have that body in place, we'll be able to use it to our mutual benefit in Saskatoon.
Until now, Saskatoon has only had an economic development office, basically a department within City Hall. Business people say that's not nearly as effective as a separate authority would be, and they want one in place quickly because they say there's another project waiting in the wings and they don't want Saskatoon losing out again.
That project is Piper. If the aircraft manufacturer does come to Saskatchewan, there will no doubt be a showdown. Regina and Saskatoon, as well as other centres, want Piper in their city. It would bring as many as 500 jobs and lots of spin-off manufacturing.
I hope it comes to Regina, and we are now aggressively positioning ourselves so that we can put forward a strong bid if and when it does come to Saskatchewan.
The authority has set up a community bond and is asking 4,000 businesses to contribute. It hopes to raise $5 million.
If Piper comes to Saskatchewan, well, let's assume Piper comes to Saskatchewan. Who's going to get it?
Haha, Saskatoon, of course. There's a good body of people right now that's putting forward a project and a proposal to the government of Saskatchewan. I guess, first of all, we have to make sure we get it in Saskatchewan.
There is a feeling in this city that if Piper does land in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon should get first dibs on it.
If the government is going to keep trying to push economic development, that it's Saskatoon's turn, then it has to look seriously at the problems of both of its major centers.
Wherever Piper ends up, it's not likely to make or break the local economy.
but it will provide a boost just like Crown Life and FCC will do in Regina and Promavia still may do in Saskatoon.
But most business people agree the economic rivalry between Regina and Saskatoon only goes so far.
They say that the province's economy as a whole should be the first priority, and that what's good for Regina or Saskatoon is good for Saskatchewan. For CBC News, I'm Paul Diederich in Saskatoon.
And I'm Cheryl Jackson in Regina.
And as we all know, they are both good cities to live in.
Yeah, sure, but I can imagine the pressure that's going to be on the provincial government coming from Saskatoon to start steering some of those economic incentive programs back to their city. It's going to be quite a showdown over Piper.
Particularly with the Premier Romano from Saskatoon. Sure. All right. Still to come, Canada knocked out of the World Hockey Tournament.
Coming up next, Saskatchewan's ballooning budget woes.